Welcome to the Splendid Blended Family, your role as a step parent. My name is Devry Paradowski, and I'm a student of the American Public University System, and I'm currently pursuing an undergraduate certificate in family development. I've developed this presentation as an assignment for the course Family Development, taught by Jennifer Jewell, Certified Family Life Educator and Board Certified Human Services Practitioner. This presentation will introduce you to the step family structure and will discuss the importance of defining your role as a step parent. You'll learn about some of the issues related to becoming a step parent, who is involved in your transition into this role, and how to communicate with your spouse and stepchildren to augment the success of your new blended family. This presentation will also introduce you to some local community resources to help you navigate your new transition or to help you with your already formed blended family transition. Step families vary in formation. Single adults without children might marry or cohabitate with someone who already has children, or two adults who each already have children may marry or cohabitate. Browning and Roth, 2016, assert that there are two types of step families, simple and complex step families. Simple step families have only one parent with a child from a previous relationship, and complex step families have two parents with children from previous relationships. As of 2012, 59% of U.S. American children live with either a married or remarried couple, and 31% of them lived in a different sort of arrangement. The children from previous relationships may have absent or highly involved biological other parents. Custody arrangements for children in these step families impact the role new step parents may end up taking in their marital relationship. Complexity increases in a step family because family subsystems increase with the addition of a new adult into the family unit. A really good quote which illustrates this new complexity in family dynamics comes from a religious scholar who once said, "When a divorced man marries a divorced woman, 4 go to bed." Family sociological research suggests new step families could negatively affect the co-parenting dynamics of families experiencing a structural change. And this outcome increases family stress for the parents, the step parents, and for the children. Cartwright and Gibson, 2013, note that couples engaging in a new relationship with children from previous relationships are bringing with them, quote, interested and powerful third parties. And those parties are usually the ex-partners or spouses who may view the new step parent as competition. And so they might behave in ways which interfere with the relationship and with the management of child care for the step families. Browning and Roth, 2016, observed that conflict in step family marital relationships often involves disagreements involving how to care for and discipline children, right? Browning and Roth also note that step parents are often walking into a family dynamic which has already been well established, which means the insertion of alternative parenting styles by the step parent, understandably, lead to some sort of confrontation. Considering the types of conflict which potentially emerge when blending two family systems, communication is paramount to strengthening the success of your relationship with your partner as you become a step parent to his or her children. Engage in directional conversations when conflicts erupt. And that requires you to approach the root of a problem with intention of working through it rather than vocalizing resentment. Learn to listen to your partner as well as to the children to develop trust and to develop appropriate levels of intimacy in the family. You are entering an established family dynamic. The person you are marrying has been parenting with a core belief system before engaging with you as a new partner. Hammond, Cheney, and Piercy, 2015, explain that almost all couples have some, quote, irreconcilable differences, and these differences may involve parenting techniques. So if you cannot get to the root of the problem and come to some agreement, you might need to step back and just let it be what it is. One of the challenges of step families is the potential degradation of the parent to biological or the biological parent-to-child relationship when a step-parent enters the family equation. And this impeded relationship results in poor outcomes for all family members, especially the children. As a step-parent, learn how to facilitate that relationship in a healthy, non-intrusive way. Respect the relationship and be mindful of how your new relationship may impact your stepchildren's relationship with their parents. In any family structure is key to success for that family. So successful communication is a requirement for step families. Estleen, 2016, explains that step families often experience more conflict than first marriage families. And the most prominent reason for this conflict is that step parents overstep certain familial boundaries. By listening with intention, you'll learn what boundaries the primary family is not comfortable with you crossing. By respecting those boundaries, you'll begin to establish some trust. The good news is that step families can be very successful. Step families with clear roles, boundaries, and structure are more likely to be successful families. Of course, develop family cohesion, but in a unique step family way with appropriate boundaries. Keep in mind that there is substantial evidence that the unique step family structure can create positive family relationships and that step families are often successful and happy. To facilitate the transition into a step family dynamic, there's some help out there. The American Psychological Association for Marriage and Family Therapy website offers a plethora of information about step families. And they do suggest that couples consider the following forms of therapy. Couple therapy or marriage therapy can help you and your spouse resolve differences. Child therapy can help children who are exhibiting behavioral issues as a result of this new transition. Couple therapy in anywhere, including Flagler County, Florida, is available, and it's a good idea to engage in couple therapy and family therapy individually before trying to pull in a third party or the other parent. And the reason for this is that sometimes you can see what the therapist suggests as you engage in this. And you can find therapy probably by contacting your insurance company and finding out what types of mental health and therapy services are available. Another option to consider just in general is the employee assistance program. If your employer offers that, that usually provides different types of services for employees to help their well-being. So if they have family issues at home or legal issues at home, sometimes there are services that are provided free through an employer-sponsored employee assistance program. One of the things you might consider is engaging in those services to see if therapy is a good value for you, and it usually is. Here in Flagler County, Florida, you might consider contacting the house next door. They offer family counseling based on a sliding fee scale, and they also accept Medicaid. It's particularly useful for families experiencing more challenging transitions, but they also might be able to offer you some additional resources as well. Children's counseling. Children oftentimes really benefit from having a neutral third party being involved in their transitions. And one way to do this, especially here in Flagler County, Florida, is to just contact the Flagler County school system. They do have 2 school psychologists which cover all of Flagler County, all grades. But for the most part, what they can do is to help connect you to mental health and therapy providers in the area. So you can go to the Flagler County School website, and they do instruct you to contact your insurance provider to find out what mental health providers are accessible to you. And if you don't have mental health providers, they can maybe get you in touch with somebody, or if you don't have insurance, they can get you in touch with some sort of service that can help you. Conclusion of this presentation is a step family is a family in which one or both adults are engaging in a new relationship and they're bringing kids into this relationship. Your role as a step parent is unique. It's not the same as a biological parent. You have unique challenges because you're bringing in new family dynamics and maybe extended family members as well. Step parents, you have to engage in good communication, relationship building. You have to facilitate those relationships between the children and their parents and respect healthy boundaries. And finally, to aid in the management and transition into a step family structure, considering getting the help of couples therapy or family therapy, and consider the prospect of therapy for the children specifically. On a side note, this presentation is targeted primarily towards the step parents, people who are going to become a step parent and wondering what their roles are. If you're the biological parent, it's also important to understand what boundaries there are for you too. So you might want to consider, what are the things that I'm looking at in the other household that maybe there's a boundary there that I probably shouldn't interfere with. For example, being kind of excessively concerned that the other family painted their living room walls purple or something like that. Maybe that's not, that there's a boundary there you don't want to cross. So this is primarily targeted towards the step parents. Hopefully it's useful information to the biological parents as well. Here are some of the references I have that I've used when I developed this presentation, and maybe you'll find some useful links here. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.